We begin with men's basketball on this week's show as the Colonels have already locked up a spot in the Ohio Valley Conference Tournament, and assistant coach Steve Lepore joins us to talk about that and more. Let's first of all talk about the overall situation. This team in the OVC tournament, so one box checked off, and you all started with that run against TSU, the next team you play, and that began a 6-game winning streak on the road, and it's been a good run for the Colonels.
Yeah, it was a huge win for us because we were coming off a tough loss against Belmont, and it was a game that went back and forth the entire game. I think we were only up like 4 at half, but we were able to score the ball really well. Obviously, Jamaro was huge. He had 37 points, but Hobbs only played the first half, but he had 8 points and 4 assists, and we had contributions from a bunch of different guys, which kind of led to when we went on that winning streak. We've had Laughlin's had big games, Michael Marino's had big games, Trey King stepped up big. Ty Taylor's had 20 points in one half. Rashard scored 15 points in one half, so it's been a complete team effort, and it kind of, like you said, it started with that Tennessee State game.
And I think that is, and what you say about all those guys, and you mentioned, it has been a collective effort because one player's been out this game or that game. It's a short bench, but this team has played good team ball here in the OVC part of the schedule.
Yeah, and Jamaro's been a whole different player. He's been doing a great job of scoring when he needs to score, but also passing the ball. He's limited his turnovers, and the other guys have also stepped up and making big shots and sharing the ball. But like I said, a couple of those home games, like Laughlin Anderson was just unbelievable. And it wasn't just scoring. He had some, one game I think he had like 3 offensive rebounds in the last 3 minutes. But the energy he brings, and Rashard, and there's, like I said, Trey, Tyrone, and even, like Cam's stepped in and had some big minutes. Tariq Balogun against Morehead State. So it's been a lot of fun to see those guys play well, but also to see the rest of the team just enjoys when, the other guys play well.
You mentioned that game last Thursday against Morehead State, behind early, and then once the Colonels got the lead, you never let it go, repelled every effort for the home team to get back in it. And it's been a tough place to play. Morehead had the Colonel number.
Yeah, and Morehead was playing hard. They out-rebounded us. They didn't shoot the ball well, but every time they seemed to get close, like I can remember vividly, Michael Marino hit a huge 3. They got it down to 2. He hit a big 3 to put it back up to 5. Tyrone hit a big 3 that just kept that distance the whole time. And then we did a good job late when they did miss. We got some rebounds, and then Jamaro and Trey King just put the nail in the coffin at the end.
And then at Austin P, Eastern Kentucky gets down 14 at halftime. You got it all the way back to 2, just couldn't quite get over the hump. But what lesson was learned from the loss to the Governors, who were at the top of the OVC?
Well, the biggest thing that, was obvious to everybody was we didn't rebound the ball well enough. And that's what they do really well with Terry Taylor. He's leading the conference rebounding, especially offensive rebounding. But I think the biggest thing we learned is, Trey King and our bigs have to do a better job of not necessarily getting rebounds, but keeping their guy from getting the rebounds, and then the guards got to help. Because I think if we limit those rebounds, we're right there in that game. We're on the road, the first place team in the conference. We know we can play with them now, but we're going to have to play a little bit better.
So here's what's ahead for the Colonels. TSU next. If you win that game, you lock up at least a 4 seed. Can't put too much stock in that game because there's 3 others after it, but there's another carrot out there to get for the Colonels on Thursday.
Yeah, and it's it's a great test for us. It's a high-pressure game because of so much at stake, and it's kind of getting us ready for the tournament. Now, this is a high-pressure game at home, so, we're going to have our crowd, so it's going to be a little bit different than when you get to the tournament and it's a neutral site, but I think it's going to be a great challenge for our guys. I can't wait to see how we come out and how hard we play, but they're going to be wanting to get us after losing at home to us earlier in the year.
Haven't had Steve on the television show, talked to him on radio all the time, but you played at both Northwestern and Wake Forest, graduated from Wake in 2003. So like all the guys on the staff, everybody's played college basketball. So how do you take your playing days and help the current players as an assistant coach?
I think the biggest thing is it's hard to be a Division I athlete. There's a lot of demands. You got to go to class. You got to go to study hall. You got to go to practice. You got to get yelled at. You got to watch yourself in film. So being in those shoes previously helps you a ton to be able to, know when to push your guys, know when to pat them on the back. And, I was also fortunate enough, even though I did transfer, I played for 3 different head coaches. So learning from 3 different styles of play and there's a lot of different ways, to get a team to win or to motivate guys. So I think that's helped me a lot, as a coach as well.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Good luck the rest of the year.
Appreciate it. Appreciate having me.
Steve Lepore with the men's basketball coach, one of the Colonel assistants. And here is what is ahead for the Colonels on Thursday. They take on TSU at Alumni Coliseum, tip at 7:30. Then it's Belmont, a 7 o'clock game on Saturday. We'll have the call of both games at 100.7 FM. Also on the EKUsports.com stream, the TuneIn app, and the game as well streamed at ESPN+. When we come back, we'll turn our attention to EKU softball here on Inside EKU Sports.
Every day is a concept that few people can commit to. Every day requires a level of dedication that forces you to test your limits.
Every day I'll give back to the community because I draw strength from their support. Every day the sounds of your cheers will echo through my mind. Knowing that you have my back means I can always look forward.
Every day I'll be too tired to sweat and my bones will ache. Every day will provide me with the slight edge that I need to succeed. Champions are built every day.
At Eastern Kentucky University, we recognize greatness starts in the classroom, but it doesn't end there. You have to get hands-on, get real-world experience, and discover who you are meant to be. Be a crime fighter. Be a visionary. Be a colonel. See what you can be. Visit go.eku.edu/colonel.
Softball season underway, and the Colonels off to a good start at 7-2. They've won 3 in a row, and one of the main reasons why is the pitcher in the circle, Mollie Paulick. Mollie, you have really started out of the gate well and done well at the plate as well, and so has the team. So I know non-conference is not where you focus, but to get a good start, what does it mean to the team?
It means a lot. At the beginning of the year, we actually talked about having that at-large bid almost possible.
Right.
So it's really important for us to go at every game 100% and not let up, for sure.
You're really pitching well right now, and this is a deep veteran pitching staff. Why do you feel like you're doing well early in the season?
I think a lot of it's just because it's my senior season. I got nothing to lose going at it. Some words from Stacy before she left were just throw the ball and whatever happens, happens. And I think that's kind of what's helping me out a lot.
Mollie was named Ohio Valley Conference Pitcher of the Week by the league office here recently. And now you go back into another round robin of games on a weekend. And that's the way you start a season. You play 4 or 5 games over 3 days. Do you like that format, or is that just kind of preseason till you get in conference play?
I do kind of like it because it gives our team kind of a chance to figure out where we need to put people, what people can do, what people can't do. Especially for pitchers, it gives us time to figure out where to put them, starters, closers, whatever they need to do.
We said about a veteran pitching staff, but inside in the infield, while you have some promising young players, they're new, so you've got to get used to what's behind you defensively. How are they doing?
They're doing really well. All of them are stepping up. We have a lot of players that are stepping up in positions that they are not used to, which is really good for our team, and I think that the more time they get, the better they'll be.
Mollie is 3-1 on the year with 1 save, has 3 complete games, but you're doing well from the plate as well. Let me rip off these statistics. 5 of 11, 3 RBIs, 3 home runs, a double, hitting .455. I want you to keep that up the rest of the year.
Me too. A lot of not thinking is helping out that out a lot, for sure.
Because you're a pitcher and that's your focus, how much do you work on your appearances at the plate?
The past couple of years, I haven't had as many appearances because of where I've been pitching. But this year, since I've been starting, she's been putting me at the bat, which is nice. But I think the less thinking that I do, the better I'll be doing. So
yeah, you're in the designated, for people that don't know softball, you're in the designated player position. As a plate appearance. Do you always hit when you pitch, or are there other times that somebody else is the DP?
This is more recent, but when I pitch, I've been hitting, and then either Maddie, Lou, Jackie, other people have been filling in for the DP position when I'm not pitching. You
are a fitness wellness management major. What do you want to do with that degree?
I'd like to coach eventually, pitching coach somewhere.
Well, it has been a great learning experience. 4 years playing under a veteran coach who started the program in Jane Worthington. Do you watch what she does and how her assistants coach? I mean, are you already on the job in a way learning?
Oh, for sure. I think all the coaches that have been there have been awesome, and they've really helped me out in like what I want to do and how much I'm excited for it. The
tournament that you have this coming weekend will be at UNC Wilmington. Do you approach it as a set of games, or do you approach each game individually as a team? What's the mindset? Each game individually, for sure. I think we take one game at a time, and we take one inning at a time, one pitch at a time, and we go from there. And OVC, you're not picked to win it, but you're in the upper echelon of the OVC. What's the key once you get into league play? I think that, like I said, we need to make it easy. This team has made it easy so far because of how much work we've put in, and I hope to hopefully it pays off. All right. Great to meet you again. We did it last year as well. Good luck in the circle the rest of the year. Mollie Paulick, a senior pitcher with the EKU softball team. Here's what's ahead this coming weekend. It all begins Friday against George Washington University. That's at 10 o'clock, followed by the hosting the Curdles, UNC Wilmington at 12:30. Saturday, it'll be George Washington and Brown against the Curdles, and then another game Sunday morning against Brown. When we come back, we'll turn our attention to EKU baseball here on Inside EKU Sports.
We are more than just athletes. We inspire scholars. We inspire leaders. We inspire champions. We inspire family. This is the Ohio Valley Conference.
We've covered softball. Now let's cover baseball on Inside EKU Sports. Like the softball team, the baseball team off to a good start, 3-0 with wins over Presbyterian to begin the season in a weekend series. And Chris Botsoe is with us. He's a center fielder, a redshirt senior for the Curdles. And Chris, you had to eke one out in the first game on that last Friday because you were down, what was it, like 9-4 going into the ninth inning and won it.
Going into the last inning, and that was ridiculous. We first batter got out, and then we kind of just rallied together. The pitchers helped us out a little bit with a lot of walks that inning, but we grinded out at-bats, had unbelievable at-bats, and then I believe Danny Harris got the walk to tie the game up or give us the lead. So that was awesome, just coming back, scoring 5-6 runs in the ninth inning to win that game.
And then Jacob Abbott goes out and sets them down 1-2-3. I mean, it's good to have pitching behind a great rally.
Exactly. It was an unbelievable job by Abbott. He just came in, had that confidence, had that swagger, and just shut them down, which is exactly what we needed to kick off the season with a W, and then came out the rest of the weekend and had some competitive games, but we were pretty confident in those last two games that we would win the game.
On the Saturday game, you never were behind, but it was tied at 4, and you scored runs in the 8th and 9th. Do you sense that this team has late game ability?
Yes, sir. I feel like we're a team that really won't give up when we're down. We kind of all believe in each other, and even if someone comes in off the bench, we still have faith in them to get the job done. So I know for this year compared to years in the past, if we were down, we would kind of roll over, not really try as hard, but this year I can see us competing a lot and actually staying in those long games.
And then on Sunday, it was a 10-4 win, and you jumped out to an 8-1 lead. So after those first two games, it probably felt pretty good to play one without the pressure.
Exactly. That was nice. We came out the first 2 or 3 innings and put up a lot of runs, so that was just good for our offense because we kind of were a little bit slow to start the games, the last 2 games, just because I think nerves had to play a factor in it, so it was good to get out there and score a lot of runs in the first couple of innings.
As a 3-year starter, including this year, you are hitting .270 in your career, 9 home runs, 52 RBIs, off to a 3 of 9 start in that Presbyterian series. What's your goal at the plate this year?
My goal at the plate this year is just to help the team win it anywhere they need me. I'm going to try to hit for average. If they need me to hit for power, I can try to do that as well. Just kind of be a complete, well-rounded hitter for the team this year because we have a lot of guys with some pop. So.
Right. Does Coach move you around in the order, or do you stay in a specific spot?
This year I've been batting 2-hole, so I know the past couple of years I started off at leadoff and then moved to the 4, or started off at leadoff, moved to 3. But this year I see myself sticking in the 1-2 spot a lot this year. I know Nick Cowie's been batting leadoff, so I'm comfortable hitting behind him, and then AJ Lewis is following me up, which is a pretty nice person to hit in front of too.
Nick Howie, preseason All-Conference Player of the Year. Yeah. How important is he to this team?
Oh, he's a huge factor. These past 4 years, well, 3 for me playing with him, I've just seen him become one of the best players in the country, and just seeing him succeed is going to be a big component of the season, of the team and the season this year.
According to D1 Baseball, the team you play next in a 3-game series is LSU, who is number 11 in the country.
Yes,
what an honor for this team to go down there and play that series, because that's a great atmosphere. How pumps the team?
Oh, we're excited for that. We've been looking forward to it all year, and that's a big series that we have circled on our schedule.
What's Coach told you about the importance of playing a team like that? What do you have to do well as a team?
We just have to, it's a good challenge for us, just coming from Presbyterian and then going into LSU, but the mindset is still the same. Just if you play a clean baseball game, anything can happen. Rankings really don't mean anything once you get on the field, so we're excited to go out there and compete. If you play our best game, I don't really see a reason why we can't win the game.
Okay, Chris, great to meet you. Good luck at LSU and the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Chris Botsoe of the baseball team, and here's what's ahead for the Colonels down in Baton Rouge. It all starts on Friday night against LSU at 8. First pitch Saturday is at 4, and then Sunday's game at noon. All those games airing on SEC Network Plus. Colonels stay in the SEC, playing Kentucky next Wednesday, and they're back home for the first time since the Kentucky State game against Siena on February 28th. When we come back, we check in on EKU women's basketball here on Inside EKU Sports.
At Eastern Kentucky University, we recognize greatness starts in the classroom, but it doesn't end there. You have to get hands-on, get real-world experience, and discover who you are meant to be. Be a rising star. Be a hero. Be a colonel. See what you can be. Visit go.eku.edu/colonel.
We go into the final 2 weeks of the regular season in the Ohio Valley Conference, and Eastern Kentucky's women's basketball team playing for a spot in the OVC tournament. But I want to backpedal first, Coach Sam Williams, to the win at Morehead State, because you really needed that one, and your team played from ahead in that game and kept the lead. You had to be proud of the way everybody contributed.
I was. I had been telling the team here as of late, we've been competing in some games and would, play a good quarter here and a good quarter there, but we really hadn't put 40 minutes together or 4 quarters, and we were able to do that against Morehead, and I thought our kids did a great job, and as a result, you saw the score.
17 points by Terry Goodlett. Terry's been shooting the ball pretty well from 3 at times as well.
She has, and I've really had to bring her to the office, and she's one of our better shooters percentage-wise. And anytime that happens, if you want to be a good coach, hey, you got to get the ball in the hands of your best shooters. And I've told her that, and I think she's embraced that. And as a result, you see her able to put up some really good numbers.
Life as a freshman in college basketball at times can be challenging, and I thought the 10 rebounds by Anisha Jordan, I really have seen her growing here later in her freshman year.
And she has. She's had a typical up and down freshman year, but I think in the last 2 games, she's really been able to see what she's capable of. And I thought she's given us some really good minutes off the bench.
You could have really gotten a good big win at Austin Peay, but that's a tough place to play, and they shot the ball well, and you had too many turnovers, to be very frank, in that game.
And that was the thing that, those were the two things that going into that game we had to prevent. One was giving the ball to the opponent, with the turnovers, and then not letting them get open threes. They are the best three-point shooting team in the OVC, and we gave up 12 in that game, and that's something you can't do. They're well coached and a really good three-point shooting team.
The thing is, going into the last 4 games, you've got the teams that you're trying to chase down on your schedule, and so you know what's ahead. Your team is a game behind 2 teams that are in that 8-9 spot, and you play them both, Morehead State one more time and Murray State. You have Tennessee State first and Belmont on your schedule as well. So I know you have to take it one game at a time, but there's a carrot out there to grab if you can, right?
Well, we love being in this position. Obviously, we wouldn't want it to come down to the end, but we feel like we're in a good spot as a team. I think we're trending in the right way as far as how well we're playing. And as you just said, we are just going to take it one game at a time. We don't want to overlook anybody. We're going to try and take care of business on Thursday and then proceed forward.
A team that had not had a Division I win last year, just 2 wins overall. You take over the program, and you have done a complete rebuild. It continues. Do you feel like you've seen that progress that you wanted to see in year 1 here? You've had 10 wins.
I want to credit our staff. No one can do it alone. I've got a really good staff, and I want to credit the players. They really had to buy in and come together as a team and just buy into the vision. I told all of them, just forget about last year. This is a brand new year. And so I'm seeing some really good things. We have some things we still need to work on as a program to change the culture, but I love the way we're moving forward with the program.
What have you learned in year 1 as a head coach? Because you have been at big-time programs as an assistant. You were well ready for this job, and you've gotten it. So what have you learned?
Patience.
Yeah.
You can't expect things to happen as quickly as you'd like them. So I think just the patience part as a coach, there's a process. And I'm a competitor, but you still have to learn some patience.
Good luck the rest of the season, Sam.
Thank you very much.
Sam Williams, head coach of the women's basketball team. Here's what's ahead for the Colonels. It'll be a 5 o'clock tip on Thursday at Alumni Coliseum against Tennessee State, a 4:30 tip on Saturday against the Bruins of Belmont. Both of those games will be on ESPN+. Wes Chandler will have the play-by-play at 92.5 FM, 1340 AM, and streamed at EKUsports.com. And that does it for another edition of Inside EKU Sports. Like and follow all Colonel Athletics on all the social media pages you see on your screen. And we'll be back in 2 weeks here on Inside EKU Sports. And as always, go Big E.